1,
2,
3,
4.
Monster movie.
Fun time, go! Monster movie.
Fun time, go. Monster.
Movie.
Fun time.
Go!
Monster movie. Fun time, go.
With Precious D and Honeybee.
Fun time, go!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors. Welcome to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. I am one of your hosts, Precious D.
Your host, Honeybee.
Honeybee, how you doing today?
Today is a good day, Precious. Today is a good day. How are you today?
I'm all right. I'm getting by.
Getting by.
Folks, we're going to do things a little bit differently today and see how it goes, because although I've watched today's movie in both Japanese and English, I did not have the chance to take complete notes. So what I'm going to do is use the summary from Wikipedia, and I want to give credit to Wikipedia. And maybe that'll make things go a little faster. I feel like our shows have been getting longer and longer, but not necessarily better. So maybe it'll help us keep up the pace.
Keep us focused.
Today's movie is Mothra versus Godzilla.
I am squealing with happiness.
The original Japanese title is a Mothra Tai Gojira. It's from 1964. This is not to be confused with the 1992 film Godzilla vs. Mothra, which is a Heisei era film. I think that's the first time they fight in that era, but this is the first time they meet in the Showa era, which is what we are in now. The American title is Godzilla vs. the Thing.
Why?
For some reason, they wanted to hide who the enemy was going to be. Even though Mothra had been released in the U.S.
Before.
And Mothra appears first in the movie, so they're not really going to do a very good job of hiding it. It's not like it shows up, at the end or something.
Yeah.
But they do, in the API American cut, they do refer to it as the Thing frequently.
Weird. I don't like that.
And the poster tries to hide it and shows like some tentacles coming out from behind the sign from the title or some stupidity, and there are no tentacles.
Weird.
Kill Counts Wiki says there are 23 deaths, which is pretty low. And
That is pretty low.
one of them is a human shooting another human.
Yeah. Woo-hoo. Bad boy.
Everybody else is killed by Godzilla. Mothra does not kill any.
Yeah, because she's the hero. I'm so happy.
So you liked this one, huh?
I love this one. I love this one so much. This is definitely my new favorite.
All right. Well, tell me about it. What did you like in particular?
Well, I was so excited to see the Peanuts. Is that right? Is that what they're called? The Peanuts?
Yes, the Peanuts, yes.
I was so excited to see them. I loved all of the music in this film. The music was so good, even just the underscore. Godzilla looks great in this movie. He's a little different. His body is more barky, kind of like a tree, instead of kind of lumpy.
Those suits go through a lot, and they end up having to build a new one every few movies. And when they do, they make some adjustments.
Totally.
Wikipedia tells me they did use the 1962 suit for water scenes, but they built a new suit and a new Mothra prop.
Yes. Oh.
That they used for the rest of the movie.
And
I guess they had to build at least one more larva.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Sound effects of the monsters, both the Mothra and Godzilla, plus the larva, the squeaks, the squawks. I had a moment here with Godzilla when he first, not when he first comes up, but when he's walking. I was like, oh shit, it was a great moment. The way that the camera kind of does a pan, almost a zoom. We haven't seen that before yet. There was so much in this movie that I really enjoyed. This is by far my new favorite. I am also a huge Mothra fan. I love Mothra. I love the peanuts. I love it. Love, love, love.
I do like this movie. I don't like the new Mothra song as much as the other one.
You don't? Oh, I loved it.
I like the other song better.
I
This one's
think
not
that
bad.
we
I
have
just
to
like the other.
this is one of the songs we have to like cover. We can do the first one though. Like with our
Okay.
we have to like, when we do like weird cover songs, that's got to be one of them. We'll be the
Okay.
twins. We'll be the twins. We'll be the peanuts.
We'll dress alike. Be
Yes!
nothing but a Peanuts cover band.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, in this movie, Mothra is straight up the hero. She
Oh my
was
gosh. Wait. I'm
a
so
little
sorry.
bit
I
of
gotta pull us back a little bit. I'm so sorry. I totally forgot to do this at the beginning of the episode. I have a shout out today from
okay.
one of our most, I guess, one of our biggest fans, a really good friend of mine. I call him Philbies. His name is Philip. I saw him yesterday, and I just wanted to give him a shout out. He loves the show so much. He was telling me about just the things he loves about the show and his favorite parts, and he listens to every single episode. And I just wanted to shout him out. He also had a really great idea for a shirt. He just had a baby. Also, welcome to the world, baby Isadora, with his beautiful wife Jordan. And he had a great shirt idea with a baby Godzilla that, like with blocks, like destroying shit that just says Godzilla doing Godzilla shit. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I wanted to shout out Philip. Thanks for listening. We love you, man.
Yes, thank you very much. Tell all your friends, Philip.
Carry on, my wayward son.
Get your child listening early.
Yeah, we have a new monster in the fan base, y'all. A new little larva.
So, let's see. Speaking of the music, it is once again by Akira Ifukube. Of course, this is directed by Ashiro Honda. And I meant to mention this last month, and I kept forgetting, but it's good that we saved it for now. Akira Takarada stars as Ichiro Saki. Ichi, they call him through most of the film. He sadly passed away last month at the age of 84?
Wow.
87. He passed away March 14th at the age of 87. He was Ogata in the original Godzilla, and we haven't seen him again until now, but he will appear in a number of other ones coming up. And he was supposed to appear in the 2014 Godzilla. They filmed some scenes with him, but they got cut. But he's still listed in the credits as Japanese immigration agent.
Wow. Well,
I don't know if those deleted scenes are on the Blu-ray, but I will check when I have time because I would like to see that.
wow. That's so crazy. It just happened.
Yeah. It popped up on a number of Facebook pages that I follow. But we will see him again in Invasion of Astro Monster, Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, Godzilla vs. Mothra, Godzilla Final Wars, and King Kong Escapes.
Oh, shit.
So he's in quite a lot of these. Not as much as our friend Kenji Sahara, who is in this one as well, as Jiro Torahata. Yuriko Hoshi plays Junku Nakanishi. That's the photographer. Hiroshi Koizumi is the professor, Professor Mura, Dr. Mura. And Yu Fujiki is Jiro Nakamura. There's two Jiros in this movie. He's the other reporter. He's half of the comedy team, but his comedy buddy is not in this one, so he doesn't have as much shtick to do. Just a couple of egg eating scenes.
Which were funny.
And I should mention, we have not been mentioning this, and we should, because it's important. Haru Nakajima and Katsumi Tezuka are both credited as playing Godzilla. The suit actors
we haven't
are
been.
very important in these movies, and we have not
so
been mentioning them like we
right.
should.
Ah, shit, you guys.
Maybe we can do like profiles on them or something in the future to make up for that.
Yeah, dang.
So, let's get into the movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It starts off with a big old storm. A number of these movies start off with big old storms.
Mm-hmm.
And Kurata Beach is stricken by a typhoon.
Whew.
And then in the morning, we see a sign that says, "Congratulations, Kurata Coast Reclamation Project complete." And then the storm comes in and tears up all the work apparently they've just been doing.
Damn
And
it.
it like tosses a boat around and stuff.
Mother Nature, she's a fickle bitch.
Yeah. The following morning, everybody's cleaning up, and a couple of reporters, Ichiro Saki and his photographer Junko Nakanishi, show up to report. And the assemblyman who's there is mad at them when he sees he's a reporter. He's mad about the story they wrote that implies that their project is ruined. But he's like, no, we're pumping out. There's these great big pumps pumping the water out, and they're gonna fix it all, and everything will be great. And everybody's cleaning up the mess. The photographer apparently is new at this. It seems like she just got out of photography school.
Yeah, she's a rookie.
She has this huge ass camera that has like photographic plates, and I know it's 1964, but there were more compact cameras at that time. But she's dragging around this artsy stuff, and she's trying to set up, nice composition and everything. And the reporter's being very impatient with her that we're just shoot the picture. It's
Just
not
do it
art.
already.
It's just for the
You
newspaper.
gotta be fast.
Yeah, just do it. While she's trying to set up this picture, though, they find a strange, multicolored, sort of bluish, greenish object. It's like a piece of something. I guess this is meant to be a piece of eggshell?
I guess I never really understood what this part was. I thought when we first go into we found an egg, I was like, oh, that's what it was. But then you actually see the egg, so I was like, oh, well, so what was that? I wasn't sure.
Also, though, the egg is somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
It's at Nishi Beach, and they're at Kurata Beach. Because in a minute, the newspaper gets a phone call about this giant egg, and the editor's looking for Ichi, but they're like, oh, no, he's not here. He's at Kurata Beach. Mm-hmm. So they send the egg-eating guy. There's another reporter there who's like the number 2 reporter. Because the editor's first thought is, where's Ichi? My number 1 reporter, which Ichi means number 1. Ichi is the word for one.
Oh, nice. That's funny.
It's also short for the name Ichiro, but I believe that name just means firstborn son.
Mm.
Like a Roman naming his child Primus and Secundus and Tertius. I suppose the Japanese have a similar thing.
Okay.
At least for the
1, 2,
firstborn.
3. Get over here.
Yeah. So he sends the other guy to go check up on the egg that has been found. And we see the villagers, the fishermen, spotting this egg off the coast of their little village.
It is a straight Easter egg. Like,
yes.
It just
it's
really
huge.
looks like an Easter egg. Yeah, it's big, but it looks like an Easter egg you would decorate.
Yeah, it is multicolored. And whoever's in charge, some dude in charge tells the guys to go out there and get it, launch the boats and go get it. And they're like, what? And he's like, the fishing hasn't been very good lately, so we need whatever we can get. Go get that egg. And the guy that's questioning him, I mentioned this a few episodes ago, he's wearing like an army jacket and a stupid looking hat. He was the guide in King Kong versus Godzilla.
The guide.
He was wearing blackface. The translator.
Oh, the goofy guy?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was wearing blackface in that movie. This one he's just wearing his normal face.
Oh, good lord. So, I did not recognize him, obviously.
Yeah, well, without the blackface, no. He does have fairly distinctive features, though.
Features, totally. He really does.
The boats all go out to get the egg, and there's a helicopter, and I guess that's where the other reporter is, because then that turns into a picture in the newspaper. Giant egg found. Monster egg. and they've dragged it on shore, and there's a big crowd around it later, and there's a Shinto priest doing, well, before the egg even comes on land, he's doing prayers and stuff to ward off curses and things. The headlines also tell us that Dr. Mura of Kyoman University is going to investigate. So the crowd is gathered, and the doctor is like trying to take some samples and stuff, and our main reporter and photographer have shown up at this point. Ichi and Junko have shown up, and the doctor's too busy to talk to them, but Junko manages to get him to answer a question, which is it dangerous? They have no idea what's going on in there. Oh, she also gets yelled at for using a flash on a bright day. It's not necessary. So
Yeah, they kind of have this moment here where all the men kind of have this like, sorry, she's a rookie, and they're like, well, just stay out of the way then, and they're just kind of being cold, and like she takes it rather well at like in person, but then later on she's like, I have never been so insulted.
Yeah, they keep bullying her. Well, some fucking capitalist shows up claiming to own the egg.
And he literally has a Hitler mustache. I just want to point that out there.
I was going to say he has almost a Hitler mustache, but not quite. It's not a full mustache either. It's like a Hitler and a half.
It's like Hitler and McDonald's had a mustache together.
He has purchased the egg. They're like, how can you, this is, a big scientific discovery. How can you own this? But the people who live there say, washed up on our shore, we own it, and we sold it to him for 1,224,560 yen. And they're like, well, that's a very specific price. How did you arrive at that? And he says, well, a normal egg costs 8 yen. And this one is, I multiplied that by 153,820, which is his estimate of how much bigger than a normal egg this is. But I don't think that math really works, in that this egg is potentially worth more than an equivalent number of normal eggs, because there's only one, as far as they know, there's only one of these. They have no idea what's in it. I mean, It could be dangerous. It could be worth nothing. It might cost you a lot of money, because who knows what's going to come out of it.
Yeah, well, no matter what comes out of it, it's going to be fucking ginormous. So even if it's not dangerous, it's going to be dangerous. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're not proposing that we crack this egg and feed it to that many people, to the equivalent number of people you'd get for that many regular eggs. But that's how he arrived at the price, and the villagers seem happy with it. So he's planning to charge admission for people to watch it incubate and hatch.
Math.
And then later, the doctor and the reporter and the photographer that he did not want to talk to are now all just hanging out in a hotel room together. Because, of course, Philo, because they've been there at the beginning, they're now all going to be attached to each other throughout the rest of this movie, no matter what.
Yeah, whether it makes sense or not.
Yeah, and here's where she's objecting to him not sticking up for her to the guy blows smoke in her face. The guy wants her to take his picture. He's like, does that camera work? And she raises it up to take his picture, and then he blows smoke in her face and tells her, if it comes out good, send me a copy.
So gross.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, dude.
He's got a real Harry Potter's uncle vibe going on.
Oh my god. That's funny.
He's just the same kind of a self-important little asshole.
Yeah.
They discuss the egg situation and whether the authorities can do something about it. And the doctor's like, no, the government's too slow.
Yeah, and he says this weird quote. He's like, you know how the song goes.
Right.
And like, is this weird? He's like, it takes, I don't even remember what it is. He's like, it takes 2 weeks to.
2 weeks means a month, and a month means a year. And he,
yeah.
I don't remember the.
I'm like, what song?
Yeah, well, maybe it's some famous Japanese song.
I guess so. I thought it was weird that he didn't like. I don't know. It was just so strange. I was like, okay. There's
another translation issue here too, because she calls Ichi-chan, and he says, "Don't call me that." And so it seems to be some kind of a joke. she calls him this to poke fun at him, but it's not at all clear to me what that means. And if she's making some kind of pun or making some cultural reference to something. I tried looking it up, and all I could find was the name of a restaurant. And I was also like, isn't Chan a Chinese name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that means, but I guess...
Maybe it's like one of those things where like you put like in Spanish, if you put like ito at the end of something, it means like baby, you know? So maybe she's like, Ichi-chan, and he's like, call me that? I ain't no baby.
Hello, everyone. This is editor Precious D stepping in here for a moment to say that Honeybee has worked out essentially the meaning of Chan. It is an honorific like san, but it is used to indicate that the speaker finds someone endearing. It is typically used for young children, close friends, babies, grandparents, and sometimes female adolescents, according to Wikipedia, or could even be used towards cute animals or a youthful woman. So she is teasing him, I suppose, by calling him Ichi-chan. But yeah, they have a little bit of a bickering, and then they go downstairs. And this is where we realize they're at a hotel, not just somebody's apartment, because they've all come in from out of town to see this egg. They see the business guy, Kumiyama, in the lobby, and they hear that he's meeting with somebody and realize that he's working with somebody else. He's got some backer.
Yeah, and he realizes, too, who the backer is, that it's some rich broker man.
Yeah. He asks about the guy at the desk, and they tell him what room he's in. And so he's like, I know where that is, and goes to meet him. And this is Kenji Sahara playing a bad guy again, twice in a row. Playing Jiro Torahata, an even bigger capitalist dick than this guy. And they're planning to build the Shizunora Happy Center around the egg.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it weird that they say Happy Center in English? Did you think that was strange when he's like saying it to the other guy? He says that whole sentence in English and not in Japanese.
That kind of thing, it jumps out at me. I've seen it happen in Japanese movies, and even more so in Chinese movies and Indian movies.
Oh, okay. Because
England had colonized both of those places, certain English words pop up. But also because we had occupied Japan for a little while, some English words are going to pop up. But we do the same thing in English, and it must jump out at people when they're watching an American movie.
Give me an example that you can think of, like adios or something like that.
Yeah. Adios, you might call somebody muchacho. You might say sayonara.
Yeah, totally.
Well, and just certain emoji. The word emoji is a Japanese word.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. There's an expression, English doesn't borrow from other languages. It follows other languages down the alley and beats them up and goes through their pockets for loose grammar.
It's so true, though, because the English language is just so fucked. Like, learning English has got to be, if you spoke another language first and then you're learning English,
yes, I
can't imagine.
It's supposedly the second hardest, the first hardest being Chinese.
Oh, really?
This is what I've heard. I will say, though, that the 3 different alphabets that Japanese has is not at all easy.
3?
3 different alphabets, yeah.
Oh, good night.
They use hiragana, katakana, and kanji. And the kanji are actually Chinese characters.
Wow.
And I think the hiragana they tend to use to spell foreign words. And then they use the katakana for traditional Japanese words. And then sometimes they also use the kanji, which were the alphabet they borrowed from China. But I'm not sure that the kanji have like the same sound that they do in Chinese or not. And even in Chinese they don't, because Mandarin and Cantonese are all spelled the same but pronounced very different.
Jeez Louise.
It's been a struggle as I've been studying Japanese.
It's been a struggle.
For 5 minutes a day on my phone. Anyway, meanwhile, back at the movie, the fairies, Mothra's little fairies, are hiding out in the hotel room. They want Mothra's egg back.
Oh my gosh, and I love the way they're dressed this time, their little outfits. They're so cute.
They're wearing their fancy going to church outfits in this movie. They got these
Yeah.
poofy little hats.
I love the little hats, especially when they're in the forest because they kind of look like little mushrooms with their poofy little hats or little dandelions. I love them.
These two assholes try to capture them immediately. And I think they even want to, put on a show with them or something. I think they mentioned, we'll get rich rather than listening to what they have to say. They're like, we can get rich off of them.
Yeah, they're basically going to put them in a show with the eggs. Like the eggs and, what did he call them? Their beautiful protector. Or it's beautiful protectors or something.
Because you know how well that worked out for the last guy that tried that shit. So they escape, though. And then they go to our three musketeers, Ichi and Junko and Dr. Mura, and tell them that the egg belongs to Mothra and that the typhoon had washed it up into Japanese waters and destruction will follow when the larva emerges. And they agree to help them retrieve the egg. But then Mothra shows up, doesn't she?
Well, she's just kind of hiding out. Like she's already there. She's just like chilling, like waiting, like hanging out.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, what's up? Just sitting here.
They make their case and then they're like, well, we're going to go now. And there's Mothra waiting for them. Their ride is waiting for them. And I'm like, well, if Mothra's already here, why didn't she just go fucking take that egg?
Well, they put it in that, I guess, whatever the fuck that was. Whatever the building that they put the egg in is supposedly supposed to be way more structurally sound than it appears. Because even Godzilla, when he looks at it, kind of looks at it like, oh shit, what do I do now? And it's like, just pick it up and tear it away. But no one thinks of that. No one thinks of that.
Well, he tail slaps it a lot.
I know, which I was like, why are you doing that? Just turn around and use your hands.
They build a kind of a incubator greenhouse over top of the egg.
Yeah, like a greenhouse, yeah.
So the trio go and try to plead with Kumiyama and Torahata, but it doesn't work. So the fairies go home without the egg.
And they also say when they go home, like something like, wow, like too bad humans didn't give a shit about us.
Later, Ichi writes scathing articles about Happy Enterprises' insensitivity towards the Shobijin. However, the firm dismisses the articles as slander, and they open the Shinzonora Happy Center to the public. Kumayama is confronted by the villagers for not paying in full for the egg and for renting their land. Mm-hmm. So he didn't pay them all the money up front. But some of the money was supposed to come out of what he earned showing off the egg. Mm-hmm. So he goes to his backer to try to get the money for them. And he, rather than just putting up the money, agrees to loan him the money in exchange for putting up the egg as collateral.
Mm-hmm. With 10% interest a week.
Yes, he's trying to fuck over his partner.
Yeah, blatantly. Not even like trying to be nice about it.
Kumiyama agrees though because he doesn't have much choice and begins incubating the egg. Let's see. It says Mura decontaminates Ichi and Junko after touching the object they found in the wreckage, revealing it to be highly radioactive. So they return to Kurata Beach to investigate further. So that might... Okay. But the giant reptilian monster Godzilla emerges from the buried mud.
And let's just talk about this emergence, okay? Because it's good. First of all, he comes butt up. Like, he's butt first, which I was confused at first because it just looks like, like a snake or something. It's just his town. And then he kind of, like, comes up out of the dirt and like shakes the dirt off of him. Oh man, it looks good. I loved it. I love the new Godzilla suit. There's two things I don't love about it. That is, the top lip is a little bit floppy and not in like the right ways. So sometimes he kind of has like bulldog face and it's not supposed to be. Like, it kind of looks derpy. It's like in the wind. Like his lip will like flop and not in the like right way. And
kind of
exactly like that. Yes. And the eyes. I didn't really like the eyes of this suit. I did like the eyes better on the last one. But he looks great. I love it. I love this Godzilla coming out of the ground, especially how they did it backwards. It looks so good. I was excited.
So I think I'm putting some stuff together here. So the thing they found earlier, they didn't know what it was, is radioactive. So it's connected to Godzilla, not to Mothra. Maybe
Oh, I didn't get that at all.
I'm just getting that now,
I don't
reading
know
through
how I
there, because
missed it.
they're back at the first beach
Mm-hmm.
where all the stuff washed up.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a piece of Godzilla. That also explains how Godzilla got there, because I was a little confused about that.
Is it one of his plates?
Yeah, I think maybe it is. Maybe it's meant to be a little piece of his skin.
Weird. Well, it was really pretty.
But the last time we saw him, he'd fallen off a cliff into the water.
Mm-hmm.
And I was confused when I watched this before. Like, well, why is he under the ground? Did he burrow there or what? But maybe he got caught in the typhoon and washed up on the shore and buried under the mud. So he's been in the water. Who knows what happened between falling off that cliff in King Kong versus Godzilla. But he does seem to spend a lot of time in the water and not have a problem with it. So he may have gotten washed on shore and buried and has been knocked out for a few days.
Yeah.
And now he's waking up. But to the people who are there, this really comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Just suddenly Godzilla's there. That must be terrifying to live in Japan at this time when Godzilla might just rise up out of the ground at any second. You never know what the hell's going to happen. Because at least in the previous movies, they saw him coming.
Right.
But now he's just there.
Boom!
So, citizens evacuate as Godzilla wreaks havoc on Yokkaichi and Nagoya. And the Japan Self-Defense Force are deployed to lead Godzilla to the coast to minimize casualties. At the suggestion from a colleague, I believe that's our other reporter, the colleague, Nakamura, the egg-eating guy.
Yeah.
At the suggestion from a colleague, the trio travel to Infant Island to appeal to the Shobijin, the fairies, for Mothra's help.
Sitting there, and saying like maybe we could ask for Mothra's help. They like come up with this idea, and but they say right then
he just makes a sort of casual joke, and they're like, "What did you say?"
Yeah,
that's a brilliant idea. Gilligan, you've done it again.
To Infant Island.
So when they get there, they are horrified by the desolation left behind by past nuclear tests. But the last time we saw Infant Island, just the shore looked like crap, and there was a lush jungle on the inside because it seemed to be resistant. These movies are not overly concerned with continuity.
I thought maybe that it had something to do with Mothra not being like as healthy as she was in the first movie. Like her coming to the end of her life, the forest isn't as like healthy. You know what I mean?
Could be. But that's not how the visitors interpret it. They're like, oh crap, look what we've done to this island with our nuclear tests.
Yeah.
They get captured by natives and reveal their intentions to ask Mothra's help against Godzilla. The Shobijin and natives refuse, seeing it as divine retribution on outsiders for ravaging their island with nuclear tests and not returning the egg.
Which they call the nuclear test the devil fire.
Yes. And I feel like the brown face is not quite as bad in this movie.
Because it's more red, maybe? Is that why you feel like it's not as bad? Because it was really more red than brown.
There were some guys that were just straight up painted red.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah. Totally. Well,
I think that was meant to be they've decorated themselves that way.
Okay.
Not that was their actual skin. Because they don't all look like that.
Yeah.
I thought this was more of the berries that are on the island that the juice looks like paint.
Yeah.
I thought those guys were meant to have decorated themselves. Maybe they're the warriors, because the other people aren't wearing that.
But wasn't that with the paint? Wasn't that Kong? Wasn't that Skull Island? Wasn't that a different island? That wasn't Mothra, right?
You're right. It was Kong. No, but we see they mention these berries, and the idea of the berries shows up in a number of these movies. So
Yeah,
there's some
totally.
berries. There's some berries in King Kong versus Godzilla, but there's also some berries or juice in Mothra, I believe. I think it's just kind of in passing in Mothra.
Mhm.
I know the berries show up in more than one movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, I just assumed these guys were painting themselves with the berries.
With the berries.
But they're still all darker than the fairies are. So so there's a little bit of brown face going on, but it seems a little more subtle than in the previous movies. Anyway, Junko and Ichi tell them that the innocent are also in danger, and they shouldn't decide who lives and who dies. And sure, civilization is flawed, but we're trying to do better. And apparently,
Yeah, you
this
can't
works
judge all of us so quickly. Save us. It was a good speech.
Hashtag not all outsiders. It works on Mothra. So she decides to help.
Did. She says, squeak, squawk. And then they're like, Mothra will help you.
Yes. But the Shobijin warn that she is on her deathbed. She doesn't have much energy left.
Oh,
And
gosh.
they do say something about she's dying, but she will be reborn when the egg hatches. So
Yeah.
they seem to believe, whether it's true or not, who knows, but their belief system seems to be that all Mothras are Mothra. That
Yeah,
she's
and
just dies and is reborn into a new body or reincarnated or whatever.
yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, during this whole speech, when they're telling about Mothra being on her deathbed, but she never really dies, I teared up. I'm like, oh shit, Mothra straight sacrificing herself to save Japan. She knows she's gonna die. She's like sitting on her rock waiting for the end of her life. But she decides that she's gonna gather the rest of her strength and go and be a boss ass bitch one last time and save fucking Japan. It made me cry. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, Mothra, no. Now, I just love this. It feels beautiful to me to like have this circle of everything, like the oneness of Mothra never dying, energy never being destroyed, only borrowed. Kind of that faith or something, just something about them like loving her and supporting her and wanting, and like her going to save the people and them going, and I love this movie.
Mothra died for your sins. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe.
Are you going to start knocking on doors saying, hi, do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior Mothra?
Talk to you about your Lord and Savior Mothra. No, I'll just stand in people's like yards and be like caroling like, oh, Sarah.
All right, so Honeybee is joining the Church of Mothra.
I love her.
If you will open your hymnals to page 245 and join along as we sing Mosurai.
I love it. I love it so much.
I'm so happy. Back in Japan, the Japanese Self-Defense Force launched multiple campaigns against Godzilla, but to no avail. After losing his finances, Kumiyama confronts Torata at his hotel.
This is when shit gets real.
Attacks him and steals his secret funds. He beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, he does.
He gives him a bloody face. He's like, you stole my money. So I guess he got him to put some of his own money into the whole project and then loaned it back to him at interest.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just figured this out and is furious about it, or has just decided he's had enough about it and is pointing out what he did to him. And he's like, I want my money, give it to me now, and starts beating the crap out of him, and then opens up the safe.
Open up the safe, got a lot to say.
We saw earlier that there was just a stack of cash. When he was asking him for money for the natives earlier, he's like, what about all that money in the safe?
It's like, that's for something else.
That's for some other shady business that you don't know about. But tell you what, I'll loan you some money to pay the locals with. So he turns his jacket into a duffel bag and starts piling the money in it, but not fast enough because Sahara, Kenji Sahara, starts to come to and sees Godzilla out the window and pulls out his gun and kills the other guy.
He pulls out his gun and then he's like, I need my gun for Godzilla. And then he's like, wait a second. Just turns around and shoots the guy. Oh, gosh.
But then he wastes time trying to get money, trying to gather up the money, and dies as Godzilla destroys the toy hotel that he's staying at.
Yay! Destroy the tiny toys!
Godzilla reaches Nishi Beach and prepares to destroy the egg. So he seems to be heading there for the purpose of destroying this egg. Unless he's just wandering around.
Yeah, I was wondering, does he see the egg and then he's like, breakfast? Because
could be.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, he could, like, fry it right up with his, laser eyes. Just, like, cook it. Yeah, cook it right up. Cook it right up. And then, what's so funny, too, is when he does walk up to the egg, because, he doesn't have a very expressive face except for his floppy lips. Kind of has bulldog face, but he kind of, like, looks at the egg, like, walks up to it slow, like, baby? Like, but then he's like, nah. Smash, smash, smash.
So, yeah, he starts trying to destroy the egg, and he's tail slapping the enclosure to get at it. And then Mothra shows up.
Yeah, bitch! Whoa, 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 whoa. She shows up, and she starts, like, flapping her beautiful ass wings, and you see her little, like, chicken legs. She kind of has, like, little chicken feet. And I was like, oh my gosh, you can see her little chicken feet. But then I didn't realize how important that was, because then she just grabs Godzilla by the tail with her little chicken feet. I loved it so much. Oh my gosh. You guys, this is pure gold. This is gold. This movie is so worth the watch to me. In my opinion, this movie is so worth the watch. Oh man.
During the fight, she's kind of losing a lot, but then she pulls out her last weapon, which is some kind of yellow dust.
Yeah, it's like a pollen, which I was thinking, yeah. I when I was a kid, I remember someone telling me not to touch moths because they have a powder on their wings, and the oil from our fingers absorbs the powder, and they can't fly without it. And I don't know if that was just some like drunk ass aunt that I had told me that one time, or if that's real, but when the pollen thing happened, I was like, ooh, I wonder if that is a thing, like the powder on their wings.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, but it does seem to affect Godzilla badly when she hits him with it. She sprays him with the yellow powder.
Allergies.
And one of the people that are watching, commenting on it, one of the guys is like, oh, like poison. So yeah, I guess it's poison. But he gets her pretty good with his atomic breath, and she flies over to the egg and kind of lays down to die on it with one wing draped over the egg.
Oh, it's so sad.
As the Japanese Self-Defense Force resume their attacks on Godzilla, the trio and the Shobijin remain with the egg as the twins attempt to make the egg hatch quicker via musical incantations. The egg starts to hatch, and it's twins!
Gosh, it's twins!
More twins!
Oh, my word, I am so happy.
Twin larvae emerge from the egg and follow Godzilla to Iwa Island.
Squeak, squawk, 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 squeak!
As the monsters battle, the trio join a rescue party to retrieve students and their teacher left behind on Iwa Island. So people are evacuating his stuff. At some point, this other teacher or principal, whatever, gets some building knocked on him. And their trio of heroes dig him out and are telling them it's a bunch of students and their teacher over on that island. He's too wounded to do anything himself, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because of Philo, it's up to these guys, a doctor, a reporter, and a photographer, to go rescue these children. They jump up on a boat and make them go to the island to find them.
Meanwhile, back at our monster fight,
the two larvae team up and coordinate their attacks.
Cockying silly string onto Godzilla.
I was going to try to avoid these sexual implications, but Honeybee jumps in feet first. The two larvae shoot the silk, their sort of cocoon silk that they shoot out of their mouths that we've seen the previous Mothra do in her first movie. Yeah. They shoot it at Godzilla, But they use really good tactics. They're like hiding behind rocks. They're like cowboys,
Yeah, they're
peeking
like
out from behind the.
dodging him.
Yeah,
And shit.
they're poking out and shooting and then jumping back and attacking him from different sides. So they, really giving him what for. And
Cause Mothra, baby.
they keep shooting the silk at him until he's completely covered in it. We keep seeing the children and the teacher trying to get away during this whole thing and leading up to this. And then at some point, they're hiding in a cave, and the trio are on the other side of the cave near the shore yelling, "Hey, Miss So-and-so, over here." So they get them all on a boat to get out of there.
My hero.
Godzilla is eventually overwhelmed by all the silk and falls into the sea, where presumably he sinks
And
until he comes back in the next movie.
Because maybe the silk, for some reason, maybe he can't breathe. Like it's suffocating him.
Well, the thing is, he seems to be able to spend an indefinite amount of time underwater or frozen in ice.
Yeah.
He is temporarily neutralized, but we know he will be back.
Mothra, baby.
The students and teacher are returned to safety, and the larvae and Shobijin. I keep having such a problem with their name. The twin fairies return to Infant Island, and Ichi asserts that humanity will thank them by building a better world.
And they just wave goodbye. Goodbye to the larvas. They go sayonara. Sayonara. Oh, I loved it, Precious. I loved it so much. 5 stars.
5 stars.
For
Wow.
me. I love this movie. I love Mothra. Like, I'm not kidding. Today I was like, I want a Mothra tattoo. Why? I don't fucking know. I just love it. I want it real bad.
Okay, well, you have room for that?
Somewhere. I'll find it.
There's
I'll
still
find some room.
Some space left. Just don't put it on your face.
Oh, I love her.
As a personal favor to me, don't put it on your face or your neck.
Okay. Deal. What if I put it on my neck, though, as an advertisement for the
No, it's not worth it.
I'm totally joking. I would
That's
not do that. I would not do that. Love this film. I loved the first one. But I love Godzilla too. So I was like, oh my gosh, what is this movie? What is happening? What's going to happen? I was so excited to watch it. And then when I watched it, it exceeded my expectations. I loved it so much. I will watch this movie again and again. This is a staple, a kaiju staple for me now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Honeybee, I'm so happy that you are enjoying these films in general.
It was so funny because yesterday me and Philip were talking about, because he was like, I don't know much about kaijus, or I don't really know. And I was like, exactly, me too. And he was talking about how knowledgeable you are and just how smart you are and how like you know things. And then like it's so funny because it's so true. And I feel the same way, like this is all new to me. I've never seen these things. I feel the same way and I just love it so much. This is for sure. I feel like at this point, I'm in love.
Well, I'm glad because when we started this whole thing, I didn't know if it was going to end up being a terrible chore for you or if you would grow to love them. But yeah, it seems to be working out all right.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it 4 stars. I like Mothra, but I'm not in love with Mothra as you are.
That's okay. More for me.
But I did like it. I liked it quite a lot. Next week is Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster. The original title is San Daikaiju Chikyu Saidai no Kasen, which literally means 3 giant monsters, Earth's greatest battle.
Damn.
But in the English version, Ghidorah gets the top billing. The 3 monsters are Ghidorah, Godzilla, and Mothra. And
shit! What?
And Rodan. So it's really the 3 giant monsters. I'm sorry, the 3 giant monsters are Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra teaming up against King Ghidorah.
Holy shit! I am shitting myself, people. I'm excited. I had no idea. I'm so excited.
And I don't quite get why so many of these movies, their English titles did not have Godzilla in the title originally. Because I would think that would be the selling point. I would think that'd be how you'd get the American audience to come see it, is by pointing out that Godzilla's in it. But there's a bunch of them that don't do that. Although some of them have multiple titles. Yeah, because the one after that is called Invasion of Astro Monster. But that's also a Godzilla movie. So I would have called it Godzilla versus the Astro Monster, not.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, they don't ask me these things.
They should, though. They fucking should.
So King Ghidorah will end up being very important in this whole thing.
Whee!
We'll see him over and over again. And this will be the first introduction of him next week.
Nice. Hell yeah.
So until next week, remember to keep calm and take shelter in basements.
And please, don't misuse science.
We will not see you, but you will hear us next time on Monster Movie Fun Time Go.
Monster Movie Fun Time Go!
You've been listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on your podcasting platform of choice. Our theme song is by the Texacato Folk Rock Punk featuring Lita Lopez. You can support the show, find links to our social media, and even leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/MMFTG.